We begin another new year in the land down under, where tensions grow throughout each summer, with the annual Australia Day controversy and outrage surrounding our national holiday. What was once a celebration of Australian culture, whatever that means, now a yearly outpouring of shame, confusion, grandstanding and anger. This year fueled by the recent failure of the Indigenous Voice to Parliament referendum and the cultural shift that has accompanied the long-awaited left-wing sweep of national and state governments. Protesters took to the streets in their thousands, using the skills they've acquired at pro-Palestinian protests throughout the previous weeks.
We're definitely coming out here in support of our brothers and sisters out in Palestine.
There's an interconnection between what's happening in Palestine and what's happening on Gadigal land as well.
I'm marching for Aboriginal land rights in this land. I'm marching for land back and to end the colony.
Abolish Australia! Abolish Australia! Australia Day is dead!
So, should we cling to the date like a koala in a eucalyptus tree, or should the date be discarded like a bucket of prawns in the sun? Kristinia Solich has more.
Like footy, fairy bread and faking a sickie, fighting over what Australia Day means is one of our great Aussie traditions. Gone are the days in the sun, rocking out in your undies, drinking from a goon bag, while Cheryl does your hair and the boys watch cricket over beer bongs. Nowadays, Jan 26 is more often referred to as Invasion Day, the shameful celebration of the arrival of Captain Arthur Phillip and the First Fleet in 1788, marking the beginning of the British colony which shaped almost every aspect of the society we currently live in. Arguments against celebrating on the date have been reprised year after year since at least 1938, when Aboriginal Australians held a day of mourning instead of celebrating like everyone else who was in formation with the British. In hindsight, Indigenous Australians must have felt like everyone was throwing a party on the day they were evicted, mostly because that's what happened. And of course there was some bad blood about the Poms, who were pretty shifty in declaring the land terra nullius, or no man's land, before claiming it all as their own, rather than negotiating treaties with Indigenous people as they'd done in other nations like Canada, New Zealand and America. Corporate Australia entered the debate, of course, Woolworths joining Aldi, Kmart, Target and others in removing all their items referring to Australia Day. Cricket Australia held a test match in Brisbane over the holiday, but announced they wouldn't refer to the day by name, kinda like the treatment that no-nosed bloke from Harry Potter got, which later extended to that regular-nosed woman who wrote the book about him.
It is irresponsible that they are playing sports on land where there has been massacres.
It's Australia Day. I just want to watch the cricket.
The only people celebrating were the organisers of Australia Day rallies around the country. This one outside Victoria's Parliament House congratulated the hooded vandals who filmed themselves using industrial cutting tools to chop off the legs of this 115-year-old Captain Cook statue.
He's got nothing to do with Australia Day. He had nothing to do with the settlement of Australia.
Larry Fillmore took a few calls on the subject earlier today to engage with everyday Australians about their thoughts on this important issue.
Line 1, and we're talking Australia Day or Invasion Day. You're on with Larry Fillmore.
Oh my God, darling! I'm on the phone with Larry Fillmore!
Who's Larry Fillmore?
You remember the old guy that hosted INN Tonight?
Oh, yeah? What does he want?
Nah, I'm on talkback with him about Australia Day.
Yeah,
all right.
Good to hear from you there, caller, but what do you think about the Australia Day controversy?
Oh, Larry Fillmore, I can't believe it! Whatever happened to variety TV, Larry? I loved when you used to do those skits dressed as that Indian man. You remember when they dressed you as that Indian man?
Oh, I love that Indian man.
Those were different times, eh? But anyway, about Australia Day.
Oh, we love Australia Day. Ron and I always chuck the barbie on, don't we, Ron?
Too right we do.
See, now we're talking. Get a few friends and the neighbours together for a big celebration, do you?
Oh, no. We can't stand our neighbours.
Hate 'em.
And if they see we've got cars in our driveway on Australia Day, they'll hate us even more, for celebrating colonialism and all
Ask
that.
him if he knows how to shut next door's dogs up.
It's alright, I've had enough, I'm out of here.
Traditionalists continue to defend January 26 like it's the last Tim Tam in their packet, arguing the date's been celebrated for too long now to change it. Migrants continue to become citizens on the day, and we continue to use it to bestow our nation's highest honours on special Australians, like registered health practitioner Brett Sutton, artist Bill Henson, and morning TV host David Koch. For some reason. Celebrations are quietly being cancelled by councils. I suppose that's why they're called that. But one thing that never happens is a coherent discussion about an alternative date and what we'd even celebrate on it. Everyone's surfing the wave of change, but no one wants to get wet. And while we haven't had a revolution or even become an independent republic yet, there's still much to celebrate.
Like what?
Like Australia 2 winning the America's Cup in 1983.
Oh,
Or Stephen Bradbury claiming our first gold at the Winter Games.
that was pretty good.
And of course we have Kathy Freeman.
Are you sure they're right for a public holiday?
Well, something needs to happen, or this debate will go on longer than horizontal versus diagonal sandwich cutting, or whether pineapple belongs on pizza. Just with the additional weight of the rights and feelings of thousands of human beings with roots that extend back to at least 40,000 years on the land we live on. Christinia Solich, INN News.
Interesting stuff. Thanks, Christinia.
And if anyone does witness a fellow citizen celebrating the only day our government has allocated as a day of national pride, they are asked to immediately call Crime Stoppers, who will take the appropriate steps to ensure our national security.